Esports is proud to bring you a championship event like no other. The System 7. This exciting rally circuit pays homage to Earth's classic rally and Formula One traditions, pushing drivers and their teams to their absolute limit across some of the toughest terrains Stanton has to offer. Qualifying teams will push through 7 individual races located across the system, from the isolated moons of Crusader to the bustling city centers of Hurston and Microtech. Each race, pilots will control a featured vehicle, from the rugged Drake Dragonfly to the lightning-fast Tumbril Cyclone, navigate perilous terrain and conditions, as well as one another. Racers will face off on Magda, crashing through mountain passes and dusty valleys. Wallow, where jutting cliffs and deep craters force pilots to thread the perfect line. And Cleo, where one wrong move means plummeting into a lunar sea. Racers will pick up individual wins across the races, but only the team with the highest overall standing can claim the title of System 7's champion. Sign-ups begin soon. Get your crew together and join us for the System 7. You won't want to miss it.
Moi, je voudrais juste faire l'accueil. Hello, Cor5air, do you hear me?
Yeah, how you doing?
Hello, buddy. How are you?
Hey, Fred, how you doing, man?
Yes.
Good, man, good.
Yes, since the last week.
Yeah, I know. Hasn't been long.
It was incredible. You have a great team. Everyone would like to talk to you, to spend a few minutes and talk about ATMO Esports and all events amazing you're doing. Crimson here will manage the interview, and that will be easier for him directly to speak in English better than me, and I'll let him to make this exercise.
No worries, Fred. Thank you.
Okay, let's go. Let's get to it. First of all, Fran just summarized a bit what you're doing, but can you remind us who you are and what ATMO Esports is?
Yeah, of course I can. Thanks, Crisman. Thanks for having me on, guys. It's good to be back with the Beacon team. And yeah, so I'm Cor5air from ATMO Esports, and some of you probably know us a little bit better as, creating the Daymar Rally. I think that rings bells with people more so than ATMO sometimes. So if you don't know ATMO Esports, you might know the Daymar Rally. But yeah, I started the Daymar Rally back in 2017, but we ran the first one in 2018. And ever since then, we've started a series of other tournaments as well. For instance, the System 7 is on right now. That's our ground racing league tournament, and it finishes up in June. And then we, Fight or Flight and Hearst and Hurlocker are another couple of our events as well. But yeah, so we kind of started ATMO Esports in 2020, and we've been creating tournaments in the Star Citizen community ever since. So so we've been around for about 5 years now, and going strong. So yeah, man, that's me, and I'm part of a much larger group. Obviously, with the team, it takes more than one person to put on what we put on. So there's a lot of people in the background, and some of you might know Crucian Gaming and Zool and Enigmatic and our camera team, Papa Freedom and Shipwreck and Sevens, and we've got a much larger team. There's too many people to list, to be honest. And our production manager Enigmatic as well. So we have a huge team, and every second week you can see our events, or even if we're not holding a tournament, we're running a practice. So we keep busy. We keep very busy, and we've just been in Germany recently as well. You might have seen on our socials. But we're also looking forward to coming back to Europe next year for Beacon as well. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's a lot. That's a lot, actually. So I'm gonna translate now, and then we'll switch.
Yeah, sorry, man. Yep.
No worries. Du coup, c'est Cor5air d'ATMO Esports, connu principalement pour le Daymar Rally par la plupart des gens, mais c'est une organisation de plusieurs personnes qui prend vraiment beaucoup de monde et qui organise des événements compétitifs, que ce soit de combat, de course, etc., dans tous les domaines de Star Citizen. Donc ils font ça depuis 5 ans, et ils ont pas mal évolué au cours de ces dernières années. Donc comme je disais, avec au départ le Daymar Rally qui les a lancés un petit peu, et à terme tous les événements compétitifs, donc que ce soit le System 7, le Stanton Earth Locker, etc., le Fight or Flight. Enfin bref, vous avez déjà dû voir ça passer sur leur réseau. Going on, you mentioned the System 7. And you made a mistake, the Stand-on 7. It was for the first two installment, right?
Yep.
What did change along with the name for that format?
Yeah, we were very used to running events in the Stanton system, and when we started the Stanton 7 3 years ago, we kind of thought that it might stay in that system, but once Pyro came out and we had started changing tracks for the next year, we figured that we're probably going to be changing tracks quite frequently. So that kind of just expanded our thoughts to moving to other systems as well, and obviously just changing the tracks on a more regular basis. Originally, we probably didn't think that we would do that, but after a couple of years, we're like, no, we will change tracks up, and we can go across different systems. So we transitioned the name to System 7 so that we could expand upon the Stanton system instead of just having everything there. So that's where the new name has come from, and I think that that's going to stay. And it's a good tournament, and we think it's one of our good pillar tournaments. Whereas with Hurst and Hurt Locker, we're looking at changing that in the upcoming year.
Okay, so yeah, it is on right now, right? Like you say, until the end of June.
Yes.
Is everything going fine? Are the players and the crowd on here?
Yeah, so it's been it's been an exciting tournament. We've had really quite competitive competition this year. In the last couple of years, Diplomat's kind of been quite up front in the lead pack for quite some time, but this year we've got a few new race teams that are really pushing the envelope on some amazing times this year. So as far as the competition goes, it's actually extremely interesting competition. There's a lot of talent this year amongst the teams. But as far as patches and the actual organization of the event, as everybody knows, 318 has been a difficult patch to work in, and ATMO Esports prides themselves on always holding their events and never really canceling an event. No matter how bad the patch is, we always find a workaround and figure out a way. Zool and the logistics team do a very good job of testing out every bug and trying to find another way to do it. But with 318, we did find that with the parties and a few other bits and pieces, we actually had to reschedule one of our events for the first time. We didn't cancel it, but we just rescheduled one of the races during a particular difficult period during 318. But with 318.2 out now, we're looking fine. We haven't had to change any other dates. We're just running as we normally would. We've got an event on tomorrow, and basically in about 24 hours, we've got another installment of the the System 7, so you can check that out tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so you're saying that 318.2 is actually a better patch, and you can actually run events smoothly in those, right?
Well, smoothly is a loose term, but we can run it kind of the way that we normally run the events. There's always difficulties to overcome, but currently it's feeling pretty normal, and we're back to running events in our standard way. So yeah, it feels like any other buggy.
Yeah, like in a difficult way, but one you can handle, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. In a way that we can handle, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Donc pour résumer, on a parlé de la System 7 qui était anciennement la Stanton 7. Leur but à l'origine, c'était de proposer des circuits qui se basent uniquement dans le système Stanton, mais avec l'arrivée prochaine de Pyro, ils ont réfléchi et ils se sont dit que quand même ce serait plus intéressant d'aller chercher des circuits dans d'autres systèmes, même si c'était pas leur but à l'origine. Et du coup, ils ont renommé ils ont renommé l'événement pour que ça devienne pour que ça reflète la réalité de l'événement. Cette année, ils sont contents. Il y a une compétition qui est réellement saine, où il y a vraiment des équipes qui se donnent à fond et qui poussent vraiment la compétition au maximum. Enfin, il a un peu conclu en disant que le patch 3.18 avait été un peu compliqué pour tout le monde. Et ils n'y avaient pas échappé, que pour la première fois ils avaient dû reporter un événement parce qu'ils s'en sortaient pas avec la partie, le chat, etc. Mais que depuis la 3.18.2, c'était revenu à un niveau correct auquel ils sont habitués et avec lequel ils arrivent à gérer. So, like you've mentioned, how the competition was better on that installment of the System 7. Let me not do the mistake too. Did you see like the same thing in the Daimler Rally? Like the community have grown really big for the past 2 to 3 years. So and also the server caps has been raised. That's two things that are really core to the Daimler Rally, like having a lot of people competing in the same area. Did you really see a change for both the things and describing, like the community growth and the server cap raise?
Yeah, so our competitors and our spectators have pretty much doubled each year that we've held the event. We've seen kind of a steady peak right now, and it takes there's about 1,200 to 1,250 people involved on the actual day, including competitors and staff members. So there is on our servers that we're holding for the events, there is about 1,200 people putting the event together. So it's a massive amount of people to involve in servers and getting them party launched and all that kind of thing. So the peak of the amount of servers we held was 14 servers during a 50 server cap. Obviously, with that 100 server cap coming in, we were very much looking forward to that. It takes a little bit less staff to organize. There's less servers to launch. So it was a welcome change to Star Citizen to have that 100 server cap. It just makes our organization just a little bit easier to handle. The dream of the Daimler Rally, even with the rule book, which I'll just hold up right now. So we've got like a full on 36-page rule book here as well, and it's got everything in there. We have handed out a few of these at Beacon and Con just recently as well, and you can download that from daimlerrally.com. But to hold the event with the amount of people, the rule book itself is kind of telling what we'd like the event to be in the future. For instance, we have had to make concessions around spare vehicles and certain rules just to handle the bugs right now. But in the future, as far as the server cap goes, we're really looking forward to server meshing, which fingers crossed isn't too far away. Which will we just want everybody on the same server. That's the dream of the event, and that's kind of what the rule book and the original concept of the idea is to have everybody on the same event, on the same server. But right now we have to divvy up the servers and the parties just to make it work. But we connect everybody via the broadcast so that it really does feel like everyone's racing at the same time. But the dream is to have everybody on the same event, so the same server for the same event day, and that's going to make our lives a little bit easier, we think, in the future.
Yeah, okay. I understand that, and like the raise of the server cap is like a step in the good direction, even though server meshing it might be a bit far away at that point. Then, like you say, maybe we're having another raise until then, and then that's another step closer to the dream, like you say.
Yeah.
Donc pour résumer, on parlait du Daimler Rally. Donc depuis le début qu'ils ont fait ça, donc il y a 5 ans en 2018, chaque année c'est le double de participants et de spectateurs. Donc vraiment une montée en puissance constante. Et cette année, ils ont 1200 personnes donc que ce soit du staff, des coureurs, etc., qui participent au Daimler Rally. Donc ça devient vraiment un événement de grande envergure. Et bien sûr, ce qu'il a expliqué, c'est que dans le livre de règles qu'il a présenté tout à l'heure, qui est téléchargeable sur leur site en anglais, Ils décrivent le démarrali tel qu'ils ont envie qu'il devienne, c'est-à-dire avec avec tous les participants sur le même serveur, donc tout le monde qui fait la course en même temps. Aujourd'hui, c'est pas le cas, mais c'est appréciable de voir que les serveurs grandissent et qu'on peut avoir plus de joueurs en même temps. Eux, ça leur facilite beaucoup la tâche en termes d'organisation. Anything you'd like to add about Daymar Rally in general? Like this year, it's past. Like it was in January, and it's January of every year. But like, what can we expect in the future for the Daymar Rally in particular?
Yeah, just a real quick shout out to Ibra, a citizen in chat there. He's an original member of the staff that organised the Daymar Rally, so I just want a quick shout out to him. But yeah, my head is kind of in System 7, and then obviously as soon as System 7 finishes, Fight or Flight's coming up, and then as soon as that's finished, CitizenCon's coming up. So my head's kind of in that space right now. So the Daymar Rally's all done and dusted, and like Fun Traveler says in chat there, yes, it is a Dakar rally inspired event. So it really is an endurance race. If you don't know what the Daymar Rally is, it is it's a 2 to 5 6 hour racing tournament that we hold in January every year, and it's over 3 divisions, and it's a massive day. It's like a 12-hour stream for us, pretty much. But yeah. So as far as the advancements and what's coming up for the Daymar Rally, I think that with each patch, like we just talked about with server meshing is a huge deal for us. It's going to change the way that we play the Daymar Rally and how the start line works and how all the divisions will interact with each other. But there is going to be a lot of changes that come up. We've been trying to get some additional checkpoints in over the course of the last year and a bit. Because if you've seen the rulebook, or if you download the rulebook from the website, you can see that there's a checkpoint in the middle called the Betty, which we added for the first time this year, which was historic. It's the first additional checkpoint man-made checkpoint that we've had in the game, but there will be another 2 checkpoints in addition to that. So those checkpoints are designed for a few reasons. Those additional checkpoints will help with repair and refuel in the future, and we also want to add like a leader chaser mechanic to it. So there'll be like a mini game in the middle to help to kind of change up the pack a little bit. So because it's for a couple of the divisions, it'll be a couple hours into the race where they'll come to this checkpoint where they have to achieve something to move on from that checkpoint to the finish line. So it'll give a little bit of a pause in the middle for the pack to kind of maybe change and just add a little bit more entertainment to the stream and to the race. So there's a few things coming up for the rally, including those checkpoints with the repair and the fuel. And the repair and the refuel are quite important because we plan to remove spare vehicles entirely, and you will only be able to race with one vehicle, and you'll have to maintain that vehicle over the course of the race, kind of like the Dakar Rally. So the Dakar Rally has a support vehicle and 1, maybe 2 vehicles depending on the team, but they would maintain the vehicle over the course of that race, and that's how we want the Daymar Rally to race as well. That was always the intention, that you would have to repair and refuel using your support vehicle to get the vehicle to the end. So those things are still to come. Obviously, we don't have repair and refuel on ground vehicles right now, so we're still waiting for those additional elements to come into the game so that we can make the Daymar Rally what we intended it to be.
Yeah, I'm thinking as you're mentioning refueling, was this year the first year where the Daymar Rally took place with the refueling gameplay? And did you see like ships refueling each other so they don't have to go back to Crusader? Okay, that's fun. That's awesome.
Yeah, Ultimate Energy ran refueling for support craft and security. Yeah, so you're 100% correct. That was also an historic moment for us as well, having refuel in its most basic form for support craft and security available to teams. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, awesome. Du coup, on parlait un peu de l'avenir et du Daymar Rally en général. Donc cette année, pour la première fois, ils ont rajouté ce qui est mentionné dans le livret de règles, donc le reclaimer au milieu de la course, qui s'appelle The Betty, le Betty, qui est vraiment un endroit qui est censé un peu rebattre les cartes, où les gens doivent aller chercher, chaque équipe doit aller chercher quelque chose dans le reclaimer, et il peut y avoir de la baston à l'intérieur, etc. Et par ailleurs, c'est la première fois que le le Daimar Rally se déroule avec le gameplay de refueling, donc de remise d'essence. Et donc il y a eu une compagnie qui a fait des allers-retours entre Crusader et l'endroit et l'endroit de la course pour pouvoir ravitailler les concurrents, enfin moins les concurrents que le staff et tous ceux qui étaient sur place, mais pareil, c'est quelque chose d'historique et du coup on peut attendre que des choses comme ça, et eux vraiment ce qu'ils attendent c'est de pouvoir réparer et ravitailler les véhicules au sol pour complètement virer les véhicules de rechange, et qu'on n'ait qu'un seul véhicule qu'on doive maintenir tout du long de la course. So yeah, you've already talked about what's coming up this year for you said the end of the System 7 and the hot locker and everything. On last year speaking, you've announced that you were working on an IRL tournament, or many IRL tournaments. Wish you luck. Would you like to elaborate a bit about that? Where are you at right now on that project?
Yeah, Crimson, definitely. So it was always, we still think that online tournaments is kind of going to be our base, but we do plan to take this to a live environment at specifically, probably most likely a convention. So we are working on something right now, which is going to happen sooner than most people think, but we do have to keep some of the details under wraps for right now. We did initially talk about holding our own tournament and it being presented by ATMO Esports, and I think we will do that, and I think it'll be case by case basis how we actually hold our on-site tournaments. But we are working on something right now, which you will see most likely in the next 6 months, and some more details hopefully in the future. We're just nailing down some of those details right now, but we plan to do something really soon in a very big way, and I'll give you a little bit of an idea of what that might look like. We would have probably a reasonable sized room where we would be able to hold, if anyone's visiting, they can test and play some of what we do. So, little matches of fight or flight, or a track from System 7, or just the first leg of the Daimar Rally, we would hold that in that space as well, but at the same time be holding an additional tournament, whether it be System 7 or fight or flight, and holding heats there, and possibly a stage-based finals arena as well. So that kind of idea is something we've been thinking about for quite some time. We're just nailing down a few kind of details for something special in the near future, but you can expect some details on that very, very soon. And then once we kind of do that first one and we kind of feel it out, we're trying to do it in a safe manner where it's not a costly exercise. We're trying to do it in a way where it's controlled and it's not going to cost us too much, and we can test out our abilities on site. And then once we kind of have done that, you can definitely expect to see many more of those available to the community in Europe and in the US. Our community is kind of split almost exactly in half. It's almost 50% European, 50% USA. So we would like to in the future, hold one every year or every second year in either side of the world. So yeah, we have big plans for that, and I know that I mentioned it last year, and we have been working on that idea, and it's almost on its way. So we just got to wait a little bit longer, and you might see some of that stuff coming very, very soon.
Yeah, okay. Just to elaborate a bit, like you've mentioned, you want on those events to kind of give the ability to people to just check out what you do rather than actually competing. Is that correct? Did I understand correctly?
Yeah.
Is that the goal for the whole event, or is that like you said, maybe a one shot just to see what the abilities are, and then really competitive stuff, or do you want to keep that?
Good. Yeah, good question. I think our kind of plan would be to have a section on the same day as a tournament. So there would be a pre-registered tournament that would occur for this particular live event day. I won't go into details on that, but that's kind of how we would do it. But also at the same time have an area for people to visit us and actually play on the day. We'd have our team kind of rotating some races every 30 minutes, and we'd rotate people in and out so they could actually have a go at have a try at what we do, and just feel it and kind of feel that excitement on the start line, and what it feels like to have our camera crew filming them and being, live broadcasted and all that kind of thing. Have, feel that race day environment on site as well, but also at the same time holding a full live scale tournament at the same time as that test area. That's how we kind of see it kind of happening. We have a few extra exciting things happening in that space too, but I won't talk about those particular things. But yeah, that's kind of the basic idea of what we'd like to do. But if you can imagine having our live commentators, screaming at particular things happening live on the day, and that's the vibe we want. That traditional kind of esports arena vibe is what we'd like to do. Yeah.
Ok. Du coup, on parle event IRL, donc qui ont été annoncés par ATMO l'année dernière à la Beacon justement, où ils avaient parlé de leur ambition de faire des events en live. Donc à la manière de, je prends un exemple, le premier qui me vient en tête, mais à la manière d'un tournoi de League of Legends. Donc ils ont toujours ça en tête, et ils ont vraiment des projets dans les cartons, et on devrait en entendre parler assez rapidement. Et ce qu'ils aimeraient faire, c'est pas uniquement de la compétition, donc même si le but principal c'est de vraiment recréer cette vibe de compétition e-sport avec des commentateurs et une arène et tout le monde qui crie dans tous les sens, c'est aussi de pouvoir faire découvrir l'environnement qu'ils proposent. Donc dans ce genre d'événement, ce qu'ils aimeraient proposer, c'est avoir d'un côté le côté compétitif, et de l'autre côté des gens qui puissent découvrir ce que c'est l'environnement de la course, l'environnement de la compétition, etc., et voir ce que eux ils proposent. Donc faire un peu un roulement par exemple avec des courses d'une demi-heure où tout le monde se relayerait un petit peu et tout le monde aurait l'occasion de toucher un peu à ce qu'ils font. Yeah, okay, so on that note, can we expect to see you at the next Beacon, like in 2024? And
Yeah.
and if you are, what can we expect from you down there?
Yeah, I think just recently looking at budget and things like that too, and now being to Europe twice for Beacon, and recently last week for Con42 as well. I think we would probably be aiming for maybe every second year to be in Europe, and then every other second year to be kind of in the US. So that's kind of our plan, and we definitely we very much enjoyed Beacon the first time. It was great to be part of the very first Beacon. I've briefly talked to Fran about coming, and I would definitely love to be there if we're welcome. I think that it's a super fun event. They put on a very, very good show. I had such a good time. I think that it's probably the best, if not one of the best events in Europe if you're really a Star Citizen fan. I haven't been to Paris first or whatever, but I think Beacon is for its first one did such an exceptional job, and I've kind of RSVP'd with Fran. So if you guys want to have us back, we'd love to be back. And as far as what you would expect from us, if you haven't been to a Beacon event before, we did have a booth last time, and maybe we will bring something a little bit more special next time, but you can expect to see our trophies on display. You can pick up, we've got rule books for basically, every tournament. You can pick up a rule book down there as well. We have posters and affiliate partner deals, and you can see all our videos. If you want to watch some of our videos, we've got like 40-50 videos you can watch there as well. Yeah, a lot of our partners there as well, like Toby and Thrustmaster and Monster Tech, and you can expect to see of us displaying a lot of that content. We have huge giveaways. Our partners really make it easy for us to give massive giveaways, which you would have seen last week. We did like a full sim pack. So if you do come and visit us, just ask about any giveaways we might be doing, and how you might be able to get involved in that when you come down to our booth, because we will always be doing some kind of big giveaway for the community. But the reason we're there is to create more knowledge about what we do, register you for a tournament, which is completely free. Our tournaments are all free. All our massive prizes are completely free. So just register for a tournament, participate, see how you go, and you could end up with, this metal forged trophy by JRDNF, and we have all these physical prizes as well as digital prizes. So you can expect to see those kinds of things. So this is a completely metal forged trophy, very much in the vein of the Dakar Rally trophies, but all of our trophies are handcrafted by the community. JRDF does this Demo Rally one here, but Mighty Heidi has taken on our recent trophies by doing the recent Hurst and Hurtlocker trophies, and she's just working on the System 7 trophies right now. And you can get physical merch, like we got our merch store as well. So if you go to .x and _ ATMO Esports, you can check out our merch there as well. But yeah, mate, there's plenty to come and have a chat to us about. We just recently met Luigi, who was a recent champion of the Demo Rally. We were able to, for the first time, hand over a trophy in person, which we don't often get to do. So that was a historic moment with Luigi there, which was amazing. So this is the last trophy we have to get delivered, but I thought I'd just keep it for this stream. So it's being on site and meeting the community is the best bit about it. So I get to meet so many people who've been in our events in the past, and just have a chat to people about what they expect to see in the future, and you're getting them involved in the next tournament. It's such a fun time coming out to Europe and meeting the community out there, because the European community is such a massive part of what we do. They're always in the top tier level of racing. They're very passionate. It's amazing to come out to Europe and meet those people. I know that there's a little bit of a language barrier, maybe from Australia and whatnot, but I think we have a common language, which is Star Citizen, and I think people understand all of that when we discuss it. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, the game is still in English, right? So most people who play actually know a bit of English. So the language barrier, we like to translate because we're a French community doing things for the whole community. So we'd like to keep our roots in kind of some way. But I think most of people just does get it. And even sometimes it's just a bit hard to communicate. The whole thing goes through.
It does. It really does. Yeah.
Pour résumer rapidement, on parlait de leur présence potentielle aux événements Beacon. Alors eux, ils disent qu'ils adorent s'investir dans la communauté, rencontrer tout le monde, etc. Et que si on leur donne l'occasion, ils reviendront avec plaisir. Et si ça tombe dans leur budget, parce qu'ils essayent une année d'aller aux États-Unis, une année d'aller en Europe, donc c'est pas forcément toujours facile pour eux, d'autant que ils ont un budget à gérer. Mais si on les accueille, ils seraient très contents de venir. Et ce qu'ils proposent sur place, c'est de toujours de voir leur merchandising, de voir les trophées qu'ils proposent, qui ont été faits par JRDF, là en l'occurrence pour celui-là qu'on a vu plus tôt, et tous les autres trophées qu'ils proposent, proposer les inscriptions sur place aussi. Donc ils rappellent bien que les inscriptions sont gratuites, la participation est gratuite, les prix qu'ils proposent sont tous gratuits, etc. Tous par leurs divers partenaires. Donc il a cité Toby, etc. Trustmaster, je pourrais pas tout vous redire de tête, mais ils ont de nombreux partenaires qui leur permettent de donner des lots à tout le monde. Fred, je sais pas si tu peux passer la seconde vidéo d'Atmo et on lui fera commander un petit peu. We're gonna try and diffuse your second video, and maybe you can talk a bit about what it's like, what it talks about.
Yeah.
Est-ce que c'est possible de votre côté enregistrer?
On peut mettre le son?
Oui.
Tu m'entends, Crimson?
Oui, je t'entends.
Ah, tu m'entends. Fred is coming. We have this video. And Fred, c'est terminé. Il faudrait la vidéo Stanton 7. Et
juste, il fera un petit commentaire dessus après.
Ok, et il y aura un petit comment just after. Thank you.
Let's go. awesome stuff. Realization on point too. Do you
Yeah,
want to talk a bit about Fight or Flight?
Yeah, I'll just say, Haskahara and the arts and crafts team put that together for us, and they've made all of our videos up to date. So, big shout out to those guys. It does have the old dates on there, guys. So, the tournament is running in August, and you can register for that now before we cut off registration. So we actually doubling the teams this year. So 64 teams are going to be involved in the tournament. So, we're going to run a couple extra servers to work on the heats, and then the finals will be about the same kind of time frame as last year. So register for that now. If you got a mate and you're decent at PvP dogfighting, feel free to just register for free, and we'll be in contact with you to confirm your confirmation details for the tournament. So that's coming up immediately after System 7. So we're still running System 7 right now. That we still got a little bit. We're only at Race 3 coming up, and then we'll go straight out of that into Fight or Flight. So. I just to put this out there, if I were you and you were interested in being a part of our live events in the future, I would register for this tournament right now. I would do that if you in the future. Fight or Flight's going to be probably the format that best suits live events. So just to get involved in what we do and possibly involved in our live events in the future, I would register for this tournament. I think it's going to be the format that we want to go through. The demo rally is something that will be amazing to do live with everybody, but I really find that because that is like a 4-person team event, it is really suited to the world coming together because there is so many teams involved in the demo rally. It's a very different experience. So Fight or Flight is where it's going to be at. System 7 is also something that is very well suited to live events. But honestly, register now for Fight or Flight, and you might see some surprises in the future as far as your participation in live events. I won't delve too much into what that means because I can't, but just a little hint there. If you're watching the stream, I would get involved with that event if I were you. So that's happening real soon, and then we will have some future news for that as well. So it's exciting stuff for us this year, and we're going to have a massive year. So come along for the ride. It's going to be good.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Great.
Donc, on a regardé une vidéo sur le Fight or Flight. Donc, il dit que les infos sont pas à jour, mais que cette année ils ont le double d'équipes, donc 64 équipes, et que you said that the registrations were on until August. That's right? Or
we close it about 4 weeks before August. So at the end of July we'll close registrations, and then so you've got till July. But get in there now because once the 64 team slots are filled, you will then go into a waiting list to be part of those slots. So we still got a few slots left for teams to make it into the 64 teams, but after that there'll be a waiting list for those teams to then wait for other teams to drop out, because each year we have, everyone's schedules are busy, people end up dropping out, and we have a big waiting list to fill those spots. Once the confirmation of the tournament attendance happens, we use the waiting list to fill up spots for teams that drop out, which is inevitable. It will happen. So, but there's still some spots left, so get in there and get registered so that you can lock in a spot for the tournament.
Yeah, I won't because I'm trash at dogfighting. But...
So am I.
Donc il dit bien que les inscriptions sont ouvertes jusqu'à fin juillet, mais il dit que le plus tôt sera le mieux parce que une fois que les 64 équipes sont enregistrées, il n'y a plus de place et il crée une liste d'attente parce qu'il y a toujours des gens qui se désistent, mais le plus tôt sera le mieux. Et il vous encourage vraiment, vraiment beaucoup à y aller cette année, à vous inscrire, parce que il dit que c'est le format qui se prête le mieux aux live events. Et que il y aura peut-être des surprises à ce sujet pour les gens qui y sont inscrits. Et du coup, si vous voulez avoir affaire à ça, il vous encourage grandement à le faire et qu'il y aura plus de news là-dessus d'ici la fin d'année. Okay, thanks. That's some thrilling cliffhanger right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna wrap up. If you'd like to add something else, go ahead and do it, and then
I'll do some plugs, mate. Yeah, I'll just shout out to a couple of people in chat there. We got Luigi,
Yeah, all right.
recent winner of the rally. We got Zool in chat there as well. Ibra, as I mentioned before, Croncy in there, one of our commentators. So we got a few of the team members in chat there. If you want to ask any questions, feel free. And I want to say a big thanks to you, Crimson. It was really lovely to meet you at Beacon last time, and you know, it's always interesting to
Same
hear
to
someone's
me.
viewpoint who, you know, you were in the second day of our rally, so it's really cool to hear your experience and have a chat to you about that. And I think you're a really lovely guy, and it's really nice to work with you on this event too.
Thank you.
But
Same goes for me.
thanks, buddy. Yeah, it's really cool. But you know, as far, I'll do a bit of a plug for ATMO Esports. So if you do want to register for tournaments with ATMO Esports, you just go to atmo.gg. All of our tournament pages are listed there. You can click on each tournament page and register for each individual tournament. The Demo Rally registration is open. Fighter Flight's registration is still open. I'll just talk about the Hearst and Hurt Locker for a little bit as well, because the registrations you won't see on the website right now. That Hearst and Hurt Locker is taking a break this year. I will talk a little bit about Hearst and Hurt Locker. We have found the Hearst and Hurt Locker quite fun for the past 3 years, but at the same time, there's difficult parts of the Hearst and Hurt Locker that we find that just don't quite work. For instance, tracking people in the pit and party bugs and things like that make it a difficult tournament to manage. And honestly, we think we could do something a little bit better as far as FPS tournaments. So Hearst and Hurt Locker is taking a break this year, especially with CitizenCon returning, because it is within the same week, and it is difficult in the last couple of years with digital CitizenCon and us doing things like the Babbage Bash recently, to hold the Babbage Bash, Hearst and Hurt Locker, and then Fighter Flight Toby Clash within a month period. Those 3 tournaments that we did last year was quite hectic for our schedule. So just to help the ATMO Esports team, we're giving Hearst and Hurt Locker a break this year, especially with CitizenCon being live and us participating live in some aspect there. We want to be on site for CitizenCon this year and meet everybody. So we're taking a break from Hearst and Hurt Locker this year, giving it 1 year, and we're going to work on something a little bit different, but still keep it in an FPS team environment. So you can expect that FPS side of Hearst and Hurt Lockers to still remain, and it will still keep the same name, but we're going to move that tournament with new rules, a new format. We want to do like what we did with Fighter Flight and be able to create a tournament type experience with Hearst and Hurt Locker as well. So you can expect us to be using the tools within the game to make that a better experience. So and it'll just give us another opportunity to hold tournaments online and live in a much more competitive environment. So there's a lot of changes for the Hearst and Hurt Locker to come, and that's why you won't see registrations available on the website right now until next year. So so if you were wondering what was happening with that's what's happening. So you'll see some details on that in the future. But yeah, so that's a big change for us coming up. But yeah, Fighter Flight, and then you can expect to see us at CitizenCon, and then I think we're looking at Toby Clash again in November before we go back around to Daymar Rally. So it's a busy year always for us, and we love it. We love doing it. We love the community, and it's so much fun. Even though I don't get to play the game so much, apart from when we hold our tournament days, I love this community. I've been a Star Citizen since January 2016, and it's the best time. It's the best time.
And
Yeah, every year gets busier for you.
Yeah, it really does.
And we love ATMO Esports.
Thank you. We love you guys. It was such a good time.
Thank you very much. Have a great day for you, and now the night will begin. Thank you very much, Cor5air. I'll see you maybe at the CitizenCon. And yeah, thanks so much.
You sure will.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks ever so much. Bye.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you.